What's going on, everyone? It's Ryan Walsh here with Hard Money Bankers, joined with my partner Ian. Ian, what's going on?
How much? How's everybody doing? Or how you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. So the exciting topic that whoa, we got a wind tunnel, Ian. Wind tunnel.
For me?
Yeah. Whatever you're just doing, it's super loud.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The hot topic right now is the eviction moratorium being lifted, the national one. So, due to COVID, all evictions were postponed until 8/1. So now that that's lifted, everyone's trying to speculate and decide, what's their game plan moving forward. So, as from a lender's perspective, Ian, what does this mean for you with the eviction moratorium being lifted?
From a lender's perspective, it's good because then things are flowing again. Like, because what the problem was last time, people couldn't get into a project while the moratorium was happening if somebody wasn't leaving the house. So you could have somebody that would have to wait 3 or 4 months before they could, start the project. So it just delays the whole process. So with the eviction process thing, lifted, is it nationwide though? I thought there were like different cities or states that were.
Well, exactly. So for example, our New Jersey, they still have to wait till January 2022. And even that could be extended by your governor. So it is a state-by-state basis. However, the national one has been lifted. So that's the hot topic. So there are going to be some states that are, starting the process, including Pennsylvania, from what I understand. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So how tough are the states going to make this?
Well, I think that's part of what everyone's waiting to see, right? I've read things. What makes this all tricky is that usually judges, they just follow what's been done in a previous case, whatever it is. They're just looking at, well, this is how it was handled before. This is what legal said, so this is what I'm doing this time. So it's kind of, whenever you have something that's a new precedent being set legally, you kind of don't want to be the first one through, right? Particularly if you're an investor or a lender, right? You want to wait to see where legal is going to fall on certain side of things. So some things I've read is that they're doing investment properties first, which, as an investment property lender, I'm happy to hear that. Meaning they're trying to lead, because they have like a backlog of like 60,000 people per state, right? Or 60,000 cases.
What's a non-investment property?
Like a home that somebody lives in, a primary residence.
But isn't it for an eviction moratorium, or is it for mortgage moratorium as well?
Eviction more. So from my understanding is that it was anyone, whether it's your primary or an investment property, you could not evict anyone, like rentals.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if it's your primary, I don't understand how you can do an eviction on your primary.
Wouldn't the bank be trying to kick the primary owner out?
The bank's not lending. The bank has a mortgage with you. So you're saying on a mortgage basis. An eviction is rental only, right? So a mortgage would be foreclosure.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, foreclosures are now also going through the same process as well.
Gotcha. All right. Just clarifying. Yeah.
No, gotcha. So yeah, so that's what it is. They're trying to get all the rentals out first before touching any primary residence right now. So just because the backlog is, like I said, about 60,000, cases per state, there's just literally not enough manpower to go through them all, right?
Yeah, I've been getting a few calls about people going back for the moratorium, like being lifted. They're going back to the sheriff's sale and stuff. But I don't know how. I don't know. It's wild to me that the kind of reach that they had to do that to begin with is pretty wild to me. But I guess it's a whole different conversation.
How much reach the CDC had? Yeah, it's another conversation. So I mean, you said it's going to sheriff sales and things like that. So people who are looking at that, do you have any? Because I'll tell you my take on it first, and then I'll send it to you. Basically, people are saying, "Oh my gosh, the market's going to shake up now," right? Maybe is my word on that. But you're going to have
shake up in what way?
Either prices are going to skyrocket, prices are going to drop, like things are going to happen now. But I'm not sold on that.
I don't think so. I don't think you're going to even notice it. I think the bigger clip was the cost of money being so cheap that covered the entire country. Whereas like this is just kind of like a several month backlog, and several of the because remember, when you buy a house and you want to flip it or something or invest in it, you have to you buy it and then you put it back on the market and so forth. So how many houses, really are suffering in the moratorium, or really suffering from that would be enough to change the comps in your neighborhood? I don't think enough to be that. I think the real question, I think the influence of the cheapest money we've ever seen is what's really influencing the market. So I just think some of the guys that are, sheriff sale buyers are going to feast for a few months, but I don't think the market's going to shift because of that.
Yeah, and I even say like the normal sheriff sale people, I think the same issue that you're having with other properties that are not in the sheriff sale, where you're getting people just overbidding, is now going to happen with sheriff sales, because you're just going to have a bunch of people who are thinking, oh, now the sheriff sales are opened up, I can go there, right? So it's just like the backlog exists everywhere. You have people who have just been sitting, waiting to get in sheriff sales. Well, they're all going to be looking at the same property as you, so there's going to be a massive overbidding. That's my guess.
Maybe, yeah. I guess it depends on how excited the people get for it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So like it's just overexcitement, like any market really. Like, are people just going to be blind buying, which can happen, definitely can happen.
I mean, I think it is happening. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't continue happening, at least for the short term. So yeah, I mean, I guess from a lender's perspective, not much shifts in terms of how we're looking at properties and things like that. Like you said, it does help us. It keeps the market flowing, right? It opens that back up, particularly for borrowers who may have been backed up a couple months because of this. But yeah, it's kind of status quo. I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of it, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as, if you're a landlord, it's a big deal for you, right? You get to evict somebody and put somebody who's going to pay you in there. So that's huge. But in terms of the shift of the market, I don't think it's going to be as big as people think.
No, I don't think most people are going to recognize it. I think the majority of influence that we see right now is based on the cheapest prices we've ever seen. I mean, that's influencing the entire market. So 2008's like foreclosures and all that kind of stuff were really heavily part of the game, because there were so many influencing the market. You could have every neighborhood was like somebody had a foreclosure going on. You just don't have that kind of volume to influence the market like that right now.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see. Like maybe if it does, I mean, it doesn't look like it will, but if that does, then we might see the shift. But it's going to take time. 60,000 cases. We're just not going to know until at least January, I think, unless the courts are able to somehow go through all those cases even faster. But I think many of us have dealt with the government before, and that's typically not the case, right?
Sure.
But they did say what they're doing for the evictions is, if the tenant doesn't show up, at the sign, they have like 15 minutes to get there. Otherwise, it's it. They're evicted, right? So they're trying to make it as open and shut as possible. Meaning, if somebody doesn't show up, it just goes in favor of the landlord right now.
To court, you mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be like a default judgment, essentially.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to express is that they're just trying to make it really quick.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, and just kind of let it all happen. So then the actual eviction's got to happen, right? I mean, that's going to be another backlog of people being hired, or what's the sheriff doing? May not be too high on their priority list. We'll see.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think that kind of covers the eviction moratorium lift. So I guess just ending words are, wait and see a little bit here. Don't get overly excited one way or the other where you think it's going to boom or bust the market. It's too early to tell. And then plus you have whether or not your state has it lifted, and then whether or not it's going to be extended. It could even come back and be frozen again. There's just so many variables to, jump on the ship and say this is definitely what's going to happen. It's too early to do that right now, I think.
Yeah, I'm personally not losing any sleep over
it. Yeah. Got it. All right, cool. Thanks, Dean. You got anything else you want to add?
Oh, that's it.
All righty. Thanks, everyone. Take care.